My name's Hunter Owen, and basically what I want to do is kind of give you guys a background on how we got to the BeachBody Challenge, why it is the way it is, and then I'm going to turn it over to Caleb, and he's going to go over all the specifics. Caleb is the head nutrition guy for Coyote, and so he's going to give you guys all the secrets. But basically, when we started Coyote CrossFit in 2013, and we were passionate about CrossFit. And if you guys know a lot about CrossFit, you know that nutrition is the foundation of everything. Nutrition is, if you're looking at it as a pyramid, nutrition is below even what you do in the gym. And we were having trouble figuring out how to convey that message to our members. And so we came up with the BeachBody Challenge as a way to kind of inform and kind of pass on the information to them. And we try to put information out to our members in a lot of different forms, with the podcast, with YouTube videos, articles, social media, all that type of stuff. But this is kind of the, in the on-ramp we talk about it, but this is kind of like the middle tier for diet coaching for you guys. This is really kind of buckling down and trying to learn the habits that are going to help you be successful. And then the top tier obviously would be the one-on-one nutrition coaching. But first off, I'll just say congrats to you guys for signing up to do this. I know for a lot of people it can be intimidating and scary, but thank you for signing up, and I think you'll be really happy. But back to the BeachBody Challenge. Why we came up with this was, like I said, we wanted to figure out a way to get people to start, eating better and tracking it and seeing who could follow the habits the best over an extended period of time. And we came up with 6 weeks because that was a good enough amount of time for people to start developing habits. And we started doing it in the spring because everybody obviously wants to try to get their Beachbody ready for the summer. That's why we call it the BeachBody Challenge. And it's kind of evolved and taken form over, I think, is this the 6th year we've done it?
Yeah, 5th, I think.
5th year we've done it, yeah. So it's every year we've tried to make it a little bit better, and these last couple of years have been tremendously successful. I should have looked at the numbers from the spring BeachBody Challenge before I came here, but off the top of my head, I think it was about 120 people doing it?
122, I think.
122 people did it, and I think the average body fat percent loss over 6 weeks was about 3.5% body fat. So yeah, Caleb will go over all those numbers with you in a minute. Average fat pounds was, I think, 5 or 6 fat pounds. Average muscle gain was like 1 pound of muscle. So over a 6-week period, to lose 3% body fat is tremendous. If you do that consistently over 5 or 6 of those in a row, you're looking at completely different body composition. So that's kind of what the goal of this is. One thing we didn't want to do when we decided to do this was create something where you were going to starve yourself for a little while, white knuckle it, and then just let yourself go afterwards. And we've all done those before, those crash diets where I'm going to eat 200 calories, I'm going to eat lettuce 3 times a day for 6 weeks, and then I'm going to lose all this weight. But then as soon as we get off, what happens? We just go crazy, we're celebrating because we did it, and then we put on sometimes even more weight than we had on to start with. We didn't want to do something where it was a white knuckle. We wanted to do something that was sustainable after the BeachBody Challenge, and that's kind of how we came up with this. And Caleb's going to talk about this, but basically we wanted to help you guys develop habits that are going to last way after the BeachBody Challenge. We say it every year. Our goal is for you not to have to do the BeachBody Challenge next year. Now, obviously, that's not always the case, and for a lot of people, it can just be something that can get you back on track. But that's why we do it, because we want to teach you what habits are going to help you be successful. We're all about consistency in Coyote. We're not about short-term results. We're about long-term, sustainable, year after year after year, decade after decade after decade. We want you to figure out a way to eat that's going to be sustainable for you for the rest of your life and help you, continue to be healthy and, have the body that you want. Okay, so that's why we do this, and we're really excited about what we've come up with. Now, obviously, we've done it in the spring every year. Whenever we had the meeting with the members, a lot of people mentioned they wanted to do the BeachBody Challenge, and so we talked about it, and we thought, hey, why not do it again in the fall? And so we opened it up to all of our gyms as well. I'm not sure how many we have signed up, maybe 50 or 60, but it's going to be really fun, and we'll probably do it twice a year just because that's kind of, spring is kind of a time when people are wanting to get ready for summer, and then fall is another time when people are, getting back into school, getting back in a routine. So that's kind of a great way to kind of help you get back on track. We all know how summer can go towards end of June and July. Everybody's on vacation and all that type of stuff, and when school starts back, it's kind of that time where I want to get back on track. So this can be a great opportunity for you to do it. I'm doing it again, and my wife's doing it. We got some other people doing it, some other coaches are doing it, so it should be a lot of fun. But that's kind of how we got to the BeachBody Challenge and why we do it. We'll probably do it twice a year from now on. I expect it fully to be tremendously successful continuously, because it is every year. It's all about, if you're consistent with this, I promise you, you will make progress. If you're consistent with getting the points every day, and Caleb will go over the points and all that, but we see it every single year. The people who get the most points are the ones that make the most progress. The people who fall off and get less points don't make progress. And it really is that cut and dry. And that's one of the beautiful things about this is there's a scoreboard to it, just like that's one of the beautiful things about CrossFit is there's a scoreboard. There's a scoreboard for this as well. And the people who get the most points are going to do the best on this. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to pass it over to Caleb. He's going to go over everything, go over all the rules and everything, but look forward to doing it with you guys.
All right, all the secrets, apparently. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's flip to your manual. We're going to try to go through this. There's a part of this that's going to take a little bit longer, so some of this we'll go through it fairly quickly. We're going to turn, the first page we're going to go through is called Know Your Why. Okay, this is the starting point for us. When we do nutrition coaching, we work through this with our clients individually. This is a chance where you're going to have some time maybe after this to go through, but we want to basically help us center the focus. And like what Hunter was talking about, a lot of times we set a goal of, I want to lose this, I want to look this way, I want to do whatever it is, and we go straight to the what, and then we try to match it up with the thing that's going to get us there the quickest. As opposed to starting with the why of I have that goal because, and then being able to answer that. For a lot of people, it may be I have the goal of losing weight for a specific reason, and they really haven't thought about that. They've just kind of thrown it to, I need to change my nutrition, I want to get healthy. Having vague goals is also really challenging. And so we're going to try to make that as specific as we can. So what we do is give you guys kind of this, you can see the target, but we want to start with the why. What is your motivation for wanting to make a change? When you look at the scanner and you see something on there that you want to change, we want to actually think about not just what is it that I want to change, but why do I want to change that? The deeper thoughts behind your motivation can actually be the thing that can make this sustainable, as opposed to doing the white knuckle thing for 4 weeks because I want to lose, and we see the scale and it's like, yes, we're going to Soulshine, and then it's over. We want to try to think about what's the deeper motivation behind your health, behind the reason why you feel like maybe I would be healthier or feel better if I lost weight or gained muscle. So we know, and you can read through this, but understanding your why, again, it may take some work. So think about this. You may have to go up to 5 layers deep. I want to do this because of this. Well, I want that because of this. I want that because of another reason. And so take some time on your own to do that. We know that we've got to do this because food is very emotional. So we can look down, food is emotional, habits are hard to change, and these types of changes over the course of 6 weeks is not easy. And so what we want to do is help you kind of make the connection between, oh, I realize that I go to this food when I have this feeling or this thought or this person does this. And so being able to connect maybe family members that are around you that eat a certain way, and it just happens to be that you eat that way, and that's why you end up making choices that may be contradictory to some of your goals. So understanding this can be kind of the foundation of making the nutritional choices we'll talk about in your booklet, okay? Take some time, write it down. I'd encourage you to write it in this book. And again, you can make more lines if you need a couple different layers to that. The goal for us in the BeachBody Challenge and in all of our nutrition is to make this sustainable, as Hunter talked about. We think sustainability for us is to know exactly how to achieve the specific body composition goal you choose for the rest of your life. So for right now, it may be I want to lose 10 pounds. In 10 years, it may be I want to be able to do something in the gym. I maybe want to add, 5 pounds of muscle. It may be I want to lose 10 pounds now, and then I want to remain at that weight for 10 years. And so we're trying to maintain weight. But for everyone, we want you to be able to set a goal and achieve it on your own through some really easy things and kind of cut off all the dieting and fad diets and things that you see. And instead of jumping around to different things, we want to teach you how your body changes with food. And once you know that, you can set goals for the rest of your life. Okay, so we'll flip to the next page of how the BeachBody Challenge works. Okay, so these are our points. This is the point system you maybe have heard us talking about For our points, and we're going to go into this in detail, so I'm just going to skim through it fairly quickly. The daily points that you're going to have are up to 6 points. You will score it in SugarWOD. You'll scroll through just like you log your workout. You'll scroll down to SugarWOD or to your BeachBody challenge, and you're just going to hit log my result, and it's going to have one blank, and you're going to put the number of reps in. There are 6 reps in the BeachBody challenge that you can get every day. All right, you'll notice there are 7 things here. I'll explain it in a second. The first one is quality of food. All right, so what am I eating? What types of food am I eating? The second is quantity. How much of the food am I eating? The third thing is to aim to get 100 ounces of water per day. Okay, that's just drinking water. Seltzer water, bubbly water is fine, but anything beyond that would not count as water. So coffee doesn't count as water. This is just drinking water. LaCroix, things like that can count, okay? In bed for 8 hours and 30 minutes. All right, so the way we're gonna score our sleep, we're not gonna try to download a sleep tracker, put it in your phone, in your bed or anything like that. We just want you to aim to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and if you're in bed without screens for 8.5 hours, then we're gonna assume that you got close to 7 hours. Going to the bathroom, waking up throughout the night, maybe getting up a little before the alarm or different things. So we're aiming for 7 to 9. 30 minutes of activity, we'll talk about that in a second, but if you go 30 minutes of anything active, walking around the neighborhood, walking the dog, CrossFit workout, you get a bonus point each week, and Sunday is the day you can put this if you don't drink alcohol for that period of the week. So if you go 7 days and don't drink alcohol, that week on Sunday, that's going to be your 6th point because the gym's not open. Okay, you get a bonus point for a class workout that you do at this gym or one of our gyms. Okay, so you do get a Coyote Fitness bonus point if your 30 minutes of activity is here. So if you do your 30 minutes of activity for your hour class, that's 2 points. On Sunday, you can't do that because we're closed, so your extra point there to make 6 is going to be the no alcohol for the whole week. All right. Our InBody, okay, you guys took pictures. If you want to pull your picture up on your phone, if you took a picture of your scan, you can do that. Can you slide just a little bit there? If you have that, pull it up. We're not going to talk through it in a lot of detail, but we just want to tell you what we're measuring. All right, we joked about trying to load up before the scale, and a lot of times people run and go to the bathroom before they get on the scale. Doesn't change anything that we're paying attention to. What we're going to measure for our results on the InBody scanner, all right, our points are number 1. That's the number 1 ranking of the 4. The other 3 measurement components come from that InBody scan. Muscle mass gained. Okay, so the amount of muscle that you gain over the 6 weeks is going to be the second thing that we score when we rank everybody in the challenge. All right, body fat mass, that's how much body fat did I lose. In this case, did I lose is going to be the 3rd points thing that we rank for the challenge. And the 4th thing is body fat percentage. That's the ratio of your muscle and your body fat. All right, so just to kind of help people wrap your mind around that, if we gain muscle and lose fat, that's probably the ideal for most people. That is going to change your body fat percentage the most. All right. If you gain just muscle and your body fat doesn't move, it's still going to change your body fat percentage because we're getting leaner by increasing our muscle to fat ratio. The same works if we lose body fat. If we lose body fat and your muscle stays the same, you're still going to be leaner because we've just changed the ratio of muscle to body fat. Okay, the thing that will make this challenge a little different than a typical starve yourself weight loss challenge, do shakes and salads and just try to white knuckle for 4 weeks, is that if you lose muscle and lose fat, the body fat percentage is not going to change very much. So if we're not adding muscle as we go through life or preventing muscle loss, then a lot of times we may be getting smaller, but we're not getting any leaner. In some cases, we may be technically, it's probably not the best term, but we may be getting fatter, less lean as you lose muscle, even if you're losing fat at the same time. So just getting smaller on the scale, that's why for us it's a great tool to have that scanner, because if we just get on the scale and see it's down 5 pounds, there could be so many factors that weighs in, but the number 1 we want to make sure is that we're not losing muscle. And that scanner will tell us so that you know I'm doing the right things that lead to weight loss, but the good weight loss that we want, body fat. Okay, so let's flip to the next page. We'll talk about these just again and kind of help you when you go through your points. How do we look at quality, quantity? The food is going to be the big one here. So first one, quality of food. We're providing a shopping list for you. It's going to be on here. It is not extensive. It's very close though. We tried to hit, there's maybe 100 or so different foods. There's probably a good chance you're going to be able to make that decision on your own when you see the do not eat list versus the eat list. So it's not every vegetable there is on there, but if it's a vegetable, it's probably okay. So we'll talk about that, but high quality foods, the number one reason we're going to do the high quality foods first and kind of point this out first is because when we eat high quality foods, we're getting essential nutrients to make sure we're not just starving ourselves and we are actually feeling good as we're trying to lose weight. But they're also low in calorie and really high in your satiating feeling that you get from eating vegetables is going to be really, really high for the cost of very low calories. So when you're trying to control, or maybe for the first time you're seeing that, all right, I'm overeating calories, one of the best things that we can do is eat high quality foods, because you're going to be able to eat all day long and you're still going to be under the calories that you would get in a Coke and, chicken nuggets or whatever it is. Right, so we're trying to find really low calorie foods that are very filling, so we're not walking around starving and feeling like you're going to faint and all these things when you try to do a crash diet. Okay, what we measure is that you are within 10% of your quality of food from the shopping list. So this is something, it's kind of on the honor system for us, but we want to make sure that you are eating 90% of your foods come from the shopping list we provided, and only 10% of your food can come from the foods to avoid that we're going to go through at the end. Okay, so that is going to be a ballpark. You'll be able to look at that in your MyFitnessPal and you'll be able to see that fairly easily. But again, it's your estimation that it's within 90% of all your foods come from the high quality list. Quantity of food, this is going to be the one we set up in just a second. We're going to try to make sure that you are within 10% of your calorie goal. Okay, so you've got a range of 5% over, 5% under, but we want to be within 10% of your calorie goal as far as the amount of food that you eat. All right, so theoretically, if you just had a box of Pop-Tarts there and you ate and you've got 1,700 calories for the day and you ate exactly 1,700 calories of Pop-Tarts, you would get your quantity of food point for that day. All right, you just wouldn't get the quality of food point. And at the end of the day, your points would add up and you would see that that probably has a negative effect on your health, even though you may not have gained weight from doing that. All right, then we go to 100 ounces of water. Proper hydration is going to lead to better gut health, digestion, energy level, and metabolism. Of course, it's going to make workouts feel easier when you're properly hydrated, but a lot of people don't know that they a lot of times feel really hungry and they don't realize that they've only had maybe 20 or 30 ounces of water and they're in the evening and they're thinking that they need a snack, and the reality is they're just really dehydrated, and so their body is craving water. And so for a lot of people, when you start to drink water, it is going to make it less likely that you snack and graze on food throughout the day. You will start to go to the bathroom more. If you have not been drinking 100 ounces, you're going to start to go to the bathroom more. The good news is, I think about it, your body like a sponge. At first, when you start pouring water, it's just going to run off and it's just going to run straight through you. But after a little while, your body's going to learn how to hold on to that water a little better. And so you're not going to be running to the bathroom all the time. If you've only been drinking a cup or two of water a day, you may be going to the bathroom more. That may just be normal, and you've been going less than normal. So keep an eye on that, but that's one of the things we hear very often in the first week or two is, how on earth do you not go to the bathroom all the time? It will get better, I promise. In bed 8:30, we just talked about this, 8 hours and 30 minutes, okay? Not by 8:30. You can stay up late if you want, but we want to try to be in bed for 8 hours and 30 minutes. For our sleep, okay, a lot of people, and you can read the list here, we've listed a lot of reasons why sleep is very important. Hormone level, metabolism, your cognitive function, energy levels. When you are sleep deprived, your body is going to overproduce hormones that are going to create a sense of urgency to get energy, and that energy during the day is going to come in the form of food. And so what happens when we're chronically underslept, even if we're doing really good things during that time, if we're not getting the sleep we need, our body ends up producing hormones that are telling us you're hungry to get that energy you need. And so that can be a really, really important factor to your eating, is to get proper sleep. Okay, next, 30 minutes of activity. We talked about it. It can be walking the dog, going around the neighborhood, doing something where you maybe sweat a little bit and you're being active. It does not have to be in the gym, but like we talked about, you get a bonus point if you do a class at any of our Coyote Fitness locations. Alcohol, that one's pretty simple. we are going to try to avoid alcohol. You get a bonus point per week if you do that. All right, let's flip over how to win. Obviously, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but we're going to rank everyone 1 through however many people. So if we have 50 people that participate, 1 through 50, we're going to rank you in each of these 4 categories. The lowest point total wins. So if you go 1, 2, 8, and then 48 on one of the rankings, even though you did great in a couple areas, it's not going to end up, your average is going to be somewhere in the middle of the pack. For us, we're going to do body fat percentage loss, muscle mass gain, body fat loss, and then your daily points ranking. This is what Hunter was referring to in the spring. You guys can look through. First place, body fat percentage, 6% body fat, 11.7 pounds of body fat loss, muscle 5.8. I would say that's going to be extremely rare to gain that much muscle in that short amount of time, but it just shows how a lot of times what we think is a healthy lifestyle when it comes to eating could be drastically wrong. And so that's what this person found out, Josh, gaining almost a pound of muscle a week. And so you move on. Jeff in the house tonight, in the back, second place. You can go down the list. What you will notice is that, so Justin, let's look at Justin down there. Justin lost 18 pounds of body fat. Again, that's going to be on the very extreme side. It probably means that he put on some weight pretty quick or pretty soon before starting the challenge. But if you notice, losing 18 pounds of body fat, but he lost a little bit of muscle, which happens when you eat in a calorie deficit like he was trying to do, that kept him from winning, even though the first place person only lost 11 pounds. Muscle is very, very valuable when it comes to your long-term health. Not only for just you being active and being able to do things around the house and do things on your own, but also for your body composition. So you can look through that. First place, $250 cash. Second place, fitness shoes of your choice. Third place, we do a swag bag with some things from the shop over there and at one of our gyms. So let's flip on to the next page. The first thing we're going to do, getting started. All right, we need your phone here. We're going to download, if you don't already have the MyFitnessPal app. You can see this on YouTube. If you don't have it with you and can't do that, you can just pull this video back up and follow along with us when you do get a chance. But this is going to be how you see the number one thing we're going to use this for is your quantity of food. How much food are you consuming? That is the number one correlator to weight loss, is how much food you're eating. There's no one in the world who gains weight on eating too little. All right, a lot of people will say that they think they're eating too little. What that probably means is that you're eating too little 4, 5, 6 days a week and eating too much 1 day a week. Quantity is king when it comes to your body, when it comes to size, body weight gain, loss. Okay, so we're going to go through that. If you guys will, you can flip to the next page and just kind of look and see. We're going to set this up and then we'll flip back to that in just a second. All right, so let's flip to the next page. If you have your app, again, on your app, we're going to go to your home page. And if anybody needs to download or sign in for just a second, I'll wait for just a minute if we need to. Oh, does the Wi-Fi, it doesn't work in here? Okay, do we want to do this for the video and then we'll just do it for the video? You guys can follow along. I promise it's going to be very easy for you to do. Okay, all right. So what you'll start with, hello again. What you're going to start with, you're going to go to your home page and you're going to go down to the menu at the very bottom. It says More. Okay, on the More tab, when you click on that, it's going to pull a menu up and you're going to select Goals. Okay, under Goals, when you select that, you're going to have a lot of options. That's where we're going to do most of our work there. So the first thing, you're going to set your current weight. Do whatever's on your InBody scan, just for ease. If you have a scale at home, I won't set a waiter. If you have a scale at home, you may have a waiter at home. If you have a scale at home, you can, let's just use the weight that you have here on the scan. When you set that, we're going to set your goal body weight next. You can set current weight and your starting point. That's just for history, MyFitnessPal. Current weight is what we're looking at. What we want to do, guys, even if you have a weight loss goal, because a lot of people have a weight loss goal that may be more than 20 pounds. Okay, but for this sake, we're not going to try to lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks. Okay, we're going to try to set that within 20 pounds. So when it says set your goal weight, just set it to, if you have more than 20 pounds that you want to lose, just set it to 20 pounds under your current weight. All right, then you're going to choose activity level. All right, so we choose our goal, then we choose our activity level. Your activity level is what determines how many calories you burn outside of just the size of your body. And so for us, the best way that we can approach this is to say, if you guys are coming to 3 to 4 classes a week, and then you have a fairly sedentary job where you're maybe on a computer, you're working at a desk, even things like nursing and walking around sometimes can be more sedentary. It's just up to you to kind of estimate that, but if that's you, you're going to set lightly active as your activity level. If you are coming to classes 5 to 6 days a week and outside of the gym you have a very active lifestyle, you're going to select active. The difference in those two is going to be a few hundred calories, and that can be a big deal. So what we want to do is just give your best estimate, and we can always change it. If you do everything right and nothing happens, we can change this setting, and it's going to affect how many calories it gives you. So we select the activity level, then you're going to select your weekly goal. How many pounds do I want to lose per week? All right, so if you set a goal and you say, I want to lose 2 pounds a week for 6 weeks, we're going to get after it. That's going to set you at the lowest amount of calories that we probably want to be at for your energy levels. You can set it up to ½ a pound per week, and that is still significant. But I want you to kind of think about a pound of body fat being 3,500 calories. If you want to lose a pound a week, that's about 500 calories under your what you're currently eating. And as you start adding these up, that can be fairly significant. So we don't want to just drop off and say, I'm going for it, and feel like 2 pounds is the answer. You can try a pound a week. You can try ½ a pound as we get this going, then you can change that. But that's what that setting is. All right, the next thing you're going to do, so we set all those numbers, then we're going to go to select the menu for calorie, carbs, protein. All right, this is your macronutrients, our protein, our carbohydrates, our fats. All right, this is going to select how much of each of those you're going to eat through the course of your calories. So when we click on that, the first thing that we want to do is look, it's going to say percentages, and it's going to give you a percentage breakdown that MyFitnessPal defaults to, and that is not what we want to use. So if you make any changes to anything above, it's going to default it back to, and I think it's 50, 20, 30 on there, something like that. We don't want 50% carbs, most of us, okay? What we want to do is set our protein first, and then we're going to distribute carbs and fat evenly after that. But protein, what we want to do is set it as close to your body weight as possible, but as close to your goal body weight as possible, okay? So the analogy, if you weigh 200 pounds and your goal is, and maybe you have 30 pounds of body fat and your goal is to get to 170, we don't want to be eating 200 grams of protein because your lean mass really sustains a healthy 170 pounds. So what we're going to do is set 170 as your protein goal. All right, so if you have more than 20 pounds that you're wanting to lose in here, if your in-body scan up on the right shows you a lean mass control of more than 20 pounds, we're just going to set it to within about 20 to 30 pounds of what your goal is, and that's going to be what we set for grams. If you're under that, so say you have 5 pounds or 10 pounds that you want to lose, we want to set your goal body weight to the grams of protein first. All right, and you're just going to change the percentage till you see the grams that get to your weight. Next, you're going to now, most people, MyFitnessPal is going to put them from 20% protein all the way up to maybe even 40% protein. All right, what's going to happen now is we've got to cut down on the percentage of carbs and fat. For us, we're really just trying to get those even. That is not one of the main contributors. As CrossFitters and with the type of exercise that you guys enjoy and all of us enjoy, everything that is done in here is fueled by carbohydrates. So what we don't want to do is just cut the carbs way down thinking we're going to get ahead of the game. If anything, if we bump the carbs up slightly, a little bit above your fat, as long as we don't get the fat too low to affect your hormone levels for too long, we probably are going to be good going up with the carbs a little bit, and you may find that you're able to build muscle and you have the energy that you expect in the gym. So protein first, we set it to your goal body weight, then we use the percentages to distribute to carbs and fats. Evenly, if anything, maybe 5% more on the carbs than fat. Once you do that, we just need to click the check mark there and it's going to save everything. All right, now, one thing we didn't do at the last meeting, but you guys can do, a lot of people asked about this, they had no idea. When you go through, and I put some notes on here that are just, again, the settings. If you change any of your settings, then it's going to default that back. So you go a couple weeks at a time and see how you're adjusting to it. But this is just a good starting point for us. The rest of you're going through the app, take some time, get used to it, put in some foods that you want, and it'll save the foods, and then it's easy to come back up. If you eat more consistently throughout the week, it's going to be really easy to track your food. It's going to be tough at first because you got to type in the foods that you eat, but if you eat fairly consistently, it's going to be in your previously eaten foods, and you can just check mark, check, 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 and go through and re-add the same day. So your weekdays, hopefully, are going to be very similar, and so that's going to make it easy. Any questions about that before we move on? Was there anything that I missed or that you guys had a question about? One thing that we want to make sure you can do is whenever so our percentages of the macros, it's not complete until you get to the end of your day. So if you eat breakfast and you're like, oh man, I've got way too much fat, or I've got way too many carbs, my protein's too low, that pie chart that you're going to see on some of the settings is going to be way jacked up. That doesn't mean that you've messed it up for the day. It doesn't mean that each day each meal has to have those percentages. What we're aiming for is that the end of the day, you have a pie chart that keeps the distribution of those macros, protein, carbs, and fat to what our goal is. Okay, there's a lot of settings, and you can see how many you have left, and that's the easy thing when you get to the end of the day and you've got a little bit of a couple things. You can mix and match some things and eat and hit your goal exactly. Okay, let's flip to the next page, and this is going to be the easier part, guys. So, we need to go back, actually. Let's do this. Sorry, we're going back. I forgot we started with this. Getting started. Look at the shopping list. We're about to go through that right now. That's the last thing we're going to do. We'll go through the shopping list. We're going to set your schedule to be in bed. I would try to make a plan. Talk to people that are at your home. Talk to people. Try to make a plan ahead of time for being in bed, what's reasonable, and just try to map out if it's possible for you to get that time in bed. If you need to, set an alarm to be in bed at a certain time, or to start winding down if you need to. It may just mean one episode, cutting an episode short and getting everything going again. It may be more challenging for some of you, but let's just try to take some time on the front end to set a schedule for that. Zen Planner, you guys sign up for classes. That's easy. If you do not have Sugar WOD, anyone watching at home, if you don't have Sugar WOD, talk to one of our coaches, but you're going to go into Sugar WOD, join the Coyote Fitness gyms, and then you can message one of us for the password to get in there. If you're not a member of the gym, we'll get you in there, and that's where you're going to log your points starting tomorrow, correct? So tomorrow, and then for the next 6 weeks, you'll go in and you have to put your points in. If you don't put your points in for the day, we don't know how many points you got, and we can't add it up at the end. Okay, so if you miss a day, you can backlog things for sure, but try not to go the whole week and then think like, did I hit my food on Monday, on Tuesday? It's really hard to do that. And so try to do that every day, set a habit for it. Okay, social support. Before we go to the eating list, all right, this is another one of those more theoretical things. You got to think a little deeper about this, but for us, we cannot emphasize enough how important it is that your social circles and the people who support you in your life are on board with what you're wanting to do. Not only can it help you build some confidence to verbalize what your goal is, but it is exponentially easier to do things like this when you have the support of the people around you, and they're not saying, let's go to donuts on the way here, or let's go, it's Saturday morning, we're going to Waffle House, whatever it is. If you have that, you are almost guaranteed to fail because our willpower is just not strong enough. That's why we set up habits and things that give us guide rails to where we don't have to make the decision to not go with the family or not go here with my friends. Let them know what you're doing. Let them know they may want to join you, they may not, but they may at least make it easier for you to make a good decision and not constantly put things in your path that would keep you from adhering to some of the things that are in line with what your goals are. We've seen it time and time again. The people that do the best in this challenge most often have someone in their life that either did it with them or that they had a really good conversation with on the front end, and it helps set them up for success. I can't emphasize this part of this enough. All right, shopping list. Guys, we want to go through this, but I'm not going to read through every vegetable and starch and all the things that are in here. We're going to go through. If you guys have some questions, please ask now. But generally speaking, our protein are going to be lean proteins. All right, lean protein is not just meat of any kind. It means it's meat that doesn't carry with it a lot of extra fat calories. Okay, so if we go and buy ground beef at the store and we're doing burgers for everyone and we just grab the 70-30 beef and throw a patty down versus a 94-6 patty, yes, it may be $1 or $2 more expensive. than the 70-30 or whatever I get in bulk, but the amount of calories is almost going to be double in the exact same hamburger patty. Now, the exact same, a lot of people laugh. Yes, it's going to be leaner. It's going to be less grease. It may not taste at first the same way as your burger that you make from, or that you get at Bulldog Burger or wherever. But the leanness is everything when it comes to trying to hit the quantity of food. Because if we're eating the same hamburger patty and one has 420 calories and one has 210 calories, it feels the same in your stomach, but the other one has just sent you almost to your fat limit just in that meal, right? And so we're trying to make sure that the protein that we shop for and that we get is lean. That is our number one priority when it comes to protein. There may be some other options, but we would like to, if you can, organic, grass-fed, free-range, hormone-free, antibiotic-free if possible. Not a thing, you don't have to mark points off for that. But that is, these things on the list are going to be main priority, leanness of your protein. Questions, just looking at this? Anything that you can see? I'll add one that's not on here, but Greek yogurt is actually a good option. Yogurt, like Go-Gurts and some of the Oreo, Reese's yogurts and things are off limits. But Greek yogurt is something that we do have on that you can eat, and that is a great source of protein. And so keep that in mind. That's something that's a very low calorie, it's a very lean protein source. But any other questions about your protein? All right, moving shopping list. I'm not going to go through those. That's just some ideas for seasoning, herbs, things like that that you may have interest in. Those things are fine. Vegetables, we'll go through. Again, it's not extensive, but that is, generally speaking, this is going to be a great start for you when you're going through and shopping some of the vegetables. Fruit, these are carbs, right? Vegetables, fruit are starches. All right, fruit is going to be fine, okay? What we don't want is fruit juice, okay? Orange juice and oranges are completely different things when it comes to your body. Orange juice might as well be a Coca-Cola, right? It's sugar. Think about it this way. Our body naturally gauges the amount of sugar you're going to intake by the fiber and having to chew an orange and eat. Very few people have probably sat down on the couch to watch a football game and grabbed 8 oranges and sat there just one after the other. But you can pour a 15, 16 ounce glass of orange juice and drink that in 5 minutes, and you just got the same amount of sugar. And so what we're trying to do is avoid drinking fruit, but we want to eat your fruit. So that's just one note when it comes to fruit. Starches, these are the starches that are on your list. All right, we want to start rice, grains, beans, black kidney. There's a couple different kinds there: quinoa pasta, split peas, steel cut oats. Things like that are the starches that we want to get. We will, if you look up to vegetables, that's where potatoes, white potatoes, sweet potatoes, they're fine. Okay, both of those are okay. Flipping over, these are our fats. All right, fats, you'll find this out as you go through MyFitnessPal, but your fats are your high calorie foods. We need them. They're very, very important for us. They're a macronutrient. We have to have them. All right, we don't want to just cut fats altogether, but fats are going to be very calorie dense. So I would encourage everyone, if you don't have a scale at home or you've never actually, you can Google it, right? How many almonds are this much, or 20 grams of fat? You're going to be amazed at how much. Olive oil, coconut oil, no matter how healthy it is, a tablespoon is 180 calories, and that's 180 calories. So whether it's a Pop-Tart or it's avocado oil, it's calories. And so the fats are the one thing I would encourage you to track the most and be the most detailed. If you have an extra strawberry, that's okay, it's probably 2 calories. If you have an extra half a tablespoon of olive oil, that could really throw off your entire day of planning for your food. So what we want to do from a seed standpoint, you can see the list. Peanuts are on the do not eat list, and the reason is most people actually have some sort of sensitivity to peanuts. It's not great for your gut health, and so I'd encourage you guys to try some other types of nuts and seeds, and butters. Almond butter is a good substitute for that. But the other thing is traditional peanut butter typically has a lot of sugar and a lot of other additives in it as well. So I'd encourage you to find some sort of natural nut butter. Shopping list, this is some of the cooking things that you can get. Milks and cream, we're going to try to avoid dairy for 6 weeks. Okay, and that's not because you need to do that for the rest of your life, but the reality is most people have a sensitivity to dairy that they've been living with for decades, and they have no idea that it's causing, you know, skin irritation, acne. We have young people all the time that come in and cut dairy, and their acne clears up, and they spent thousands of dollars trying to figure out what it is. Dairy also, for a lot of people, causes bloating, indigestion, energy. Different things can be affected by it that you may not realize. So let's try it without it for a couple weeks. And so the types of milks and cream: almond, coconut, rice, hemp, hazelnut. Okay, if you want to with the milk. Questions about those? Sweeteners are down there as well: coconut sugar, honey, raw, unfiltered honey, maple syrup, pure stevia. You track them as well though, because it's still sugar, it's still sweet. Foods to avoid. We save this for last. We're going to go through this and run out of here real quick so you can't stop us. All right, as you look through this, guys, this is just, again, we have a 10% window. So example, let's see, did we put the ketchup bottle on there? No, ketchup's in here. I know it is. Condiments. All right, ketchup is on there. If you put a little bit of ketchup on your chicken and you go and get grilled chicken instead of going out and having a salad that's 800 calories, and you cook your grilled chicken at home, and then you're just like, I gotta have something, and you put a little ketchup to the side and dip it, track it, measure how much ketchup you put. It's still calories, but that's still a win for us. If it keeps you from 600 more calories at, you know, some fast food restaurant running down the street. So condiments, things like that, just use your discretion if that fits within the 10%. Try to avoid some of those things because they are high in sugar. Alcohol, again, we talked about that. Bread, pasta, tortillas, other foods with gluten, your breakfast cereals. We go through the condiments. Gluten, we're going to try to avoid corn as well. Another very, very high likelihood that you or someone is very sensitive to that. And so as far as digestion, that's one. Let's just try it for 6 weeks. See if you notice anything. Dairy, yogurt is here. Again, we talked about that. Greek yogurt is an option that seems to be much better for people, so we're going to keep Greek yogurt there. Foods that contain genetically modified ingredients: high fructose corn syrup, sugar, artificial sweeteners, soy, fruit juice, grains, jams, jellies, pancake syrups, processed dinners, processed meats. There are some meats that you can buy that are not processed and that limit. So some of the deli meats and things that you can go and get are okay. But what we'd like to avoid is the sausage, the breakfast, the Jimmy Dean sandwich things. Some of that stuff is what we're trying to avoid. If you go and get cut ham or cut chicken from the deli and you buy 2 pounds of chicken and put it out in a wrap or something, gluten-free wrap, that's okay. All right. But we're talking about more of the sausage links and things. Sweetened drinks, lemonade, soda, fruit punch. There's a lot of people, some of our clients too, our nutrition clients, the amount of success they see just from the last sentence down there, the sweetened drinks, is incredible. If you can start with anything, of course, all these habits are great, but this is one where it is sneaky, the amount of calories that we consume on a daily basis just from liquid. So we do the water and all of a sudden we start trading this. You're going to be amazed over 6 weeks how much of a difference it makes. Any questions about this? Last page.
Yeah, will you explain how they determine the 10%?
On MyFitnessPal or the quality?
Quality, how they determine.
Well, I said honor system. Do you want to explain how they determine?
It would just be if you're set with 2,000 calories, you have 200 calories to play with. So that ketchup will...
For ketchup, yeah. So you can make it tangible when you start looking at MyFitnessPal. It becomes very tangible for, did I eat, 500 calories over my goal for the day? Well, if 500 calories is more than 10%, then I didn't get that point. And you can scroll through the items that you ate throughout the day. And if you see, ketchup, 4 tablespoons, or you can Google packets of ketchup, and you're like, oh no, I had, you wouldn't do this, but I had 300 calories of ketchup, and my goal for the day was under 1,500 calories. Well, all of a sudden, that's more than 5%, or that's, the calories there.
So if you eat like super clean all day, every single thing is on there, and you're supposed to eat 2,000 calories, and it gets to be the end of the day, you can have 200 calories of like chocolate or something like that.
Yeah.
And still be within the quality.
So it allows for some balance, right? And again, if you eat great, it works both ways, because we talked about not doing the thing where you can eat good in the way that calories work. And what's really important about MyFitnessPal is, say you have a goal of 2,000 calories a day. What a lot of people do, and there's no shortage of a diet that will help keep your calories in check, but if it's not sustainable for you long term, and you end up on Saturday night going to Mexican food or going to a football tailgate, and they've got the spinach artichoke dip, and you have a glass of wine that's 250 calories, and maybe you have 2 or 3 glasses of wine, and then you have more dip because you're not thinking about it, all of a sudden you've turned 6 days of 2,000 calories, or even in a calorie deficit, and you're like, man, I've been eating good, and then we have 4,000 calories, and it sneaks up like that. We distribute those 4,000 calories, or the 2,000 extra, you redistribute those across the week, and all of a sudden that took away your calorie deficit or limited it. And so we want to make sure that it is sustainable. So like what Hunter's saying, use that to your advantage, guys. Eat 2 Oreos if you want to at the end of the day, and track them and be confident about it, and know that that is healthy, because it helps you long term keep the sleeve of Oreos, and then you feel so bad that the next day you're like, I don't even care, we're ordering this. And so it can keep that snowball effect from happening just by keeping it in moderation and learning how to track. So that's a good point. All right, anything else from you guys that you thought about?
Go into alcohol at all?
Into it at all? Why we avoid it? Alcohol well, there's a lot of reasons to avoid alcohol, but when it comes to body composition, alcohol calories are not, so you have a Michelob Ultra. First of all, when it comes to tracking calories, that can get tricky. I can help you explain that, but alcohol calories are not a carb, a fat, or a protein. So a commercial can say 2 grams of carbs, and it has 2 grams of carbs in it, but it's got 95 calories, and so we've got to figure out where did the other ones come from. And so we can teach you how, if you really needed to track that, if that was a non-negotiable for you, how to track that, we can teach you. But when we drink alcohol, what it does is your body sees it as a toxin, right? And so it's going to shut down and a lot of people come in and they work out really hard so they can drink on Saturday. Let's take that example. So you work out really, really hard Saturday, you come in and do the 30-minute partner workout, and then we go straight to somewhere and 2 o'clock and we start drinking. Your body's going to perceive that as a toxin, and so what it's going to do is try to get rid of that as quickly as possible. It's going to put urgency, number one thing, I've got to get rid of this toxin, and that takes time. And what happens when you do that is your body shuts down all the other processes of eating protein and eating carbohydrates and restoring some of that energy that you just used in your workout. And so it's going to limit your ability to build muscle, because for the next hours and hours and hours, your body is perceiving this toxin and it's trying to get rid of it. So it shuts it down completely. We eat a lot more when we drink. We obviously are drinking calories, and so that's another factor. And then it's going to affect your sleep. And you can go back through and see all the different ways sleep will help you when it comes to your body composition. But when you're sleeping and you've had alcohol, even though you may fall asleep just like that and pass out, you're getting waking sleep and light sleep only. Your REM sleep and your deep sleep is very, very low, so your body's not recovering, and then it starts to snowball. And so it can affect your body in a lot of different ways beyond just I had 400 calories of Truly today. It's going to affect your sleep. It's going to affect your body's recovery from all the exercise you did to try to earn those calories, and it begins to be this snowball that will have a negative effect on your body. Anything else that you noticed from that? Or wanted to point out?
More important than the 1 point a week that we put on there. The reason we did that is because we used to have it as part of every day, and people just really didn't like that, because there's people that just aren't going to stop drinking.
Yeah.
So we want to find a challenge for them where they can still do the best they can, but still be able to drink. But realize that if you're going to drink more than 1 or 2 drinks a week, you're not going to be able to lose as much weight as you think you could. It's going to slow your progress down a lot. We've seen people quit drinking for 6 weeks, and just by doing that, it's completely changed their body comp. So just keep that in mind.
All right. Any other questions? We good? All right, guys. So what we'll do, Chris will have my number, or you guys can get my number if you want to. Reach out to us. Reach out to Chris. all of our coaches, we've been practicing this for years ourselves, but for a lot of us, we'd love to help you if you have specific questions. And here's the thing, we encourage you guys to not worry so much about the scan as the habits, but we do want you to track your weight, because we don't want to go 6 weeks and you don't weigh yourself trying to make it work and there was something that you didn't really know, or there's some little thing that you missed. We want to try to find that really early. So what we do is we just say, I would weigh yourself twice a week, Wednesday, Sunday, let's say, first thing in the morning. And if after 2 weeks you don't see any weight loss and your goal is to lose 2 pounds a week or a pound a week and there's no weight loss, there's something in the calories and we want to help you find it so that for the next 4 weeks we can begin progress. Because this is just a game where we're just trying to say, all right, let's set a goal, let's try to dig into some of the habits and some of the lifestyle, and let's address it. And we can move that. Again, we're going to work for many, many months and years, hopefully, with you on that. But for this challenge, we don't want you to spend 6 weeks and learn 1 lesson. So give it 2 weeks. If your weight doesn't change at all and that was your goal, then let us know and we'll try to dig into it and try to find out what that was, and we'll just make an adjustment. All right? Well, guys, we enjoyed it. We're excited for you. Again, reach out if you have questions. Yes. Question.
I hope I'm not the only one feeling this, because I'm going to feel really stupid.
Uh-oh.
The percentages on the protein, the fat, and the carbs
Yes.
by your body weight. What a number. Did anybody else?
Okay, percentages by your body weight.
Well, when I put it
Do you have it pulled up?
I do.
So what we want to do, Hunter, can you look while we're talking through it?
I got it.
What you're probably going to be is around 30% of your daily calories from protein. When you set percentages, if you have MyFitness, the regular MyFitnessPal, you can only set percentages. If you have the Pro version, it's like $80 a year or something. You don't have to have it to do all this, but if you have the Pro version, you can literally set down to the gram. If you're doing the free version, you set it within 5%, and so it's going to be fairly, you just try to get as close as you can.